Okay. We're continuing on our book of fixing our midot. That's also midot book, but through Shabbat. This is a different midot book. Yeah? So this caption today is called Musar, a picture of your destination. Interesting. It says, differentiating between the objective truth and one's personal level at the moment is a prerequisite for Musar study. Again, differentiating between the objective truth and one's personal level at the moment is a prerequisite for Musar study. This whole thing, same thing with that, started with what? Being a met. You got to know the truth. You got to be truthful. Yeah? And then the second thing is, over here, last night we spoke about it with another group. It says you have to know between your desires and your beliefs. Yeah? There's certain people desire certain thing. They want to do certain thing, right? And then, but you have to understand, is that a desire or do you believe in it? What people do is they make their desire into the beliefs. And therefore they allow themselves to do this thing because they what? Well, what's wrong with it? You hear? What's wrong with going, on the beach and I'm not looking. I don't want to look. Yeah, but the end of the game is it's there and you're seeing it. You hear? So I understand you want to go to the beach, but it's counterintuitive to where he's supposed to be. You hear? But he's gonna lie to himself and say, no, I want the water. Like we have on Shabbat laws. Right. I want to open the refrigerator to get the milk. I don't want the light to go on. Yeah. So he says, I want to be in the water. I don't want to see this. Yeah, but psikreshe, it's there. And said, unless you go to a beach that there's nobody there. Yeah. So he says, you must differentiate between this. In order to learn Musar, you must be honest with yourself. With yourself, you don't have to tell anybody, right? But at least know that I'm doing something wrong. You hear? Because that's the only way you'll be able to start helping yourself to fix it. He says, to illustrate, imagine that a person hears a Musar shmuz about the obligation to learn Torah day and night and thinks to himself, this is not relevant to me, right? It doesn't belong to me. How many times we hear something and say, it's need lemina. Yeah? He says, as I just can't muster the connection to learn even for a short period of time. You hear what he says? What is this? Huh? Meaning, no. He says not only zakon lemina. You have to learn Torah day and night. He's like, this is not for me. Why? I can't even learn for 5 minutes, so it's not for me. You hear? So he automatically takes himself out of this whole thing. Why? Where does it say? Where does it say that you have to learn for hours? Learn day and night, 1 minute. The next time, 2 minutes. You hear what I'm saying? Meaning, but he takes himself out completely. Why? Huh? Yeah, he's taking himself out of the obligation.
But you have to.
Oh, you're right. But what is he saying? But I can't come to Shacharit. I gotta drive, I gotta this, my child, my et, my to. Okay. So after the drive, come. Before the drive, go. Yeah, we all had to drive at times. Baruch Hashem, we have different minyanim, different times, yeah? Alternatively, let's say a person hears Musar Shmuz about the importance of avoiding the indulgence of this world and thinks to himself, let me first think about avoiding actual prohibitions. You hear what he's saying? He's saying, you're not allowed to go Cancun, you're not allowed to go here, you're not going. He says, what's that? First, let me think about not eating pig, not eating this, not eating shrimps. What is this? Yeah, he says this type of response is a serious mistake. Initially, when a person studies Musar, he should not analyze his own behavior and assess whether it matches the ideal he is learning about. Rather, he should learn what is the proper way to behave and contemplate what perfection looks like without regard to his personal level, meaning to his present level. He says, don't start saying, I can't, I this, and that. First understand, wow, there's a concept to learn Torah day and night. You hear? He doesn't want you to say, I can do it, I cannot do it. No. First understand that there's a concept that you have to learn day and night.
I think he's talking about his own potential. What's my potential?
Oh.
How much I can...
He says, I can't do anything. I can't do anything. I can't. How many people say I can't do that? Most of the people say I can't do that. That's why they don't do it. He says, don't say that. First, understand that, you know what? There's an obligation to learn day and night. So when a person understands this, guess what he does? He's going to now put it into his heart to maybe just do it. Okay, maybe not now, but why? Because I understand it. If I don't understand it, guess what? It's out. It's out of my agenda. It's no longer for me. And therefore, you will never get to it. I have a little list that I write for myself to remember, right? It's a long list, right? Some of these things are about a year old. Meaning, I wrote it a year ago, but I still got to do it. You hear? Well, why is it there? Because that's my agenda. I need to do it. I need to fix this. I need to go here. I need to call that one. So things that I need to do right away, right? I do it and I cross it out. But there are things that can take time. You hear? So what he's saying, at least realize or understand that there's a concept that you have to learn Torah day and night. Oh, now when you understand this, you internalize it, right? Now you at least have it in your heart that it's part of my obligation. You see the difference? One, I took it out. I took it out of my obligation. I don't want to hear about why. It's not for me. Yeah. The other one, I understand it. It's difficult to do, but at least I understand it. I know there's an obligation to do that. See, people who write these books, they know what we're thinking. The easiest way to get out of a situation is, it's not for me. It's not for me. Once it's not for me, I'm out.
My conscience is
clean. My conscience is clean. But when you say, wow, there's an obligation to do this. You hear? There's an obligation to do this. Now your conscience is constantly thinking, I have to do it, I have to do it. People who don't come to Minyan, you know what they say? No, Minyan is not for me. I pray at home.
I pray it myself.
I pray myself at home. So therefore he, 100% clean. He's at home, he puts it on 2 minutes, out. He's out. He's good, okay. But there's an obligation to come to Minyan. Yeah?
But what they say is no obligation to go.
Oh, yeah. He's, in his mind, no obligation to go. Yeah? But he's saying if he understands there's an obligation to go, he internalizes, says, yeah, you know, this, I gotta go to the Minyan, but I can't. You know, I gotta drive my kids like this, I can't get up, whatever it is. But at least you know there's an obligation. So what's gonna happen? One day he gets up early, he's like, oh, you know what, there's an obligation to go. So he's gonna go. You hear? But when it's out of your system, even if I get up early, I'm gonna watch TV, I'm gonna scroll in whatever, yeah? So he says, this type of response is a serious mistake, the one that says, I'm out. Initially, when a person studies Musar, he should not analyze his own behavior and assess whether it matches his ideal, that he's learning about. Rather, he should learn what is the proper way to behave and contemplate what perfection looks like without regard to his personal level. You understood a different way. You understand, what's my potential? No. Forget your potential. Understand what it is. Yeah? Understand what it is. And then then he can recognize the truth of the Musar he is studying and accept that truth wholeheartedly without experiencing the feeling of despair that typically results from comparing one's level to an ideal level. Again, then he can recognize the truth of the Musar he is studying. Oh, now I know that there's an obligation to learn. You hear? Day and night. And accept the truth wholeheartedly without experiencing a feeling of despair that typically results from comparing one's own level to the ideal. Now, since I know that there is such a thing, I'm not going to go crazy and think, yeah, but I don't do that. You know, okay, I understand that there is an obligation. Be'ezrat Hashem, I'm going to work on it. Yeah? What did you want to say?
He may say, why do I need to accept upon myself this obligation?
Oh.
Who is forcing me?
Very good. Then we have to take him back to that there's such a thing called Hashem, and the Torah is Emet. Here he's talking about people who are on that level already. They understand that Hashem exists, that the Torah is Emet. But what they do is, even in this sense, the best way to get out of it is say, this doesn't pertain to me. I'm out. This, not for me. Here? So he says, studying Musar without immediately applying it to one's own life is a critical first step. For it paints a picture for a person of what his destination should look like. We were just talking about destinations.
Don't apply it to yourself. Just learn about it.
Exactly. This spurs him to apply what he has learned to his own life, but in a realistic, bite-sized way that acknowledges his current level and enables him to advance slowly but surely from one level to another until he reaches the heavens.
But
You hear?
he works on himself.
Yeah. What he's
It's
trying
not
to
the
say,
stuff for me.
what he's trying to say is, when I block it out, that's not for me. There's no way you're going to work on that. Why? Because it's not for you. Meaning, this doesn't apply to me. You hear? But maybe, no. But when he learns about it, wow, there's an obligation to learn day and night. Wow, how is that possible?
That's
You
This is
hear?
a great technique for kids.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
When you want to show the kids the proper way,
Absolutely.
you just learn about it.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
apply it to them.
See, this concept is very relevant to when two people have an argument. When two people have an argument, husband, wife, partners, whatever it is, you know what they do? They discount completely what the other person says. So therefore, for them, it's not true. You hear? And now, I feel confident that he's wrong, 100%. He says, no. You have to stop for a second. Say, 1 second. Let's look at the facts. Do you know that this fact is correct? Yes, I do. And this fact could also be correct? Yes, I do. Do you accept that possibly this could be? Yes, I do. You hear? If he's saying, no, this person you cannot talk to. Why? He doesn't want even to begin to understand that maybe what he's saying is wrong. You understand? So when I'm talking to you and I'm not listening, I don't care what you say, you're wrong. You hear? The game is over. There's no way you could argue with such a person. And a lot of times we get that in marriages, where one of the spouses just doesn't want to hear the other spouse. You know why? Because they know he or she is right, but they don't want to accept that. So therefore, I don't want to hear you. What you say doesn't pertain to me. And that's exactly what he's saying. Let it come to your mind. At least, you might not agree with it, right? The rabbi say what? It's okay. You have to agree to disagree. Remember that? Did you ever hear that? You have to agree to disagree. Meaning,
Accept the opinion.
exactly. I agree with what you're saying, but I disagree with it.
And it's fine.
Yes.
It's totally. I understand.
It's
what you
very
say.
good when you do that.
Yes.
But you know what's no good? I don't agree with what you're saying at all. Wait a second. But is it valid?
Did you understand?
Did you understand it? Is it possible? It's impossible. No. Is it possible? Yes, it's possible. But I don't agree with it. Oh, now it's different. Now we could talk together. Why? Because at least you're understanding me.
Yeah.
And this is the same concept.
As part of maturity.
Yeah, but you know what? We have 80-year-olds that are not mature.
Yes.
So it's not you could say it's part of maturity. It doesn't mean that if they're going to become 40 years old, that we know 50, 60 years old, they're not. So I understand what you're saying. It's part of maturity.
Mental
It's
maturity.
yeah, but you have to work on it. You have to be honest with yourself. Again, this is all about honesty. How do you want to do shlom bayit? How do you want to make it if you don't want to even digest the fact that this stuff exists?
But interestingly enough, Rabbi Shalom Arush writes about husband and wife.
Yeah.
Do not criticize your wife.
Oh, we're not talking about criticism. I didn't say criticism.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't say
Meaning
criticism.
When a husband stands in opposition,
I didn't say that either. What happens is like this. There's such a situation, right? Let's say husband did something. And the wife comes, One second. Like, can I explain? No, I don't want to hear anything. But wait, I don't want to hear. No. Is it possible that this person looked at you because of whatever? No. So there's no way to talk. But if she says, yeah, it's possible. But I don't think that was the case. You hear? But is it possible? Yeah, it's possible. Now you're able to understand that, you know what? It's not as bad as you see it.
Before she can understand, I think every wife wants to know my husband is on my side.
Yes.
First, she has to make sure.
You're right. But what if the discussion is with you? She has a discussion with you. You understand? So how is it that I am on your side? I am on your side. But do you understand the situation that I don't want to hear your situation? You don't want to hear my situation? Okay. You see, that's what he's saying. He's saying, listen, stop. Take yourself out of this picture and look at it from a distance and say, is it possible that something like this will occur? Yeah, it's possible. Okay, good. Do you understand that? Yeah, but I don't agree with it. Okay, very good. But at least you understand that there is an angle that you might not be seeing. So therefore he's saying, when we learn Musar, we cannot imply it to ourselves. We cannot.
Don't do it.
Don't apply. You know, you got to go to mikvah. Let's say for a man, right? That's not for me. That's it. There's an inyan to go to mikvah? Yeah. Oh, very interesting. Okay, good. Yeah, very nice. What? Every day? Preferably Friday is very good to do. You know, Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah, very advisable. You hear? But other people, it's not for me. I'm Easternis. I don't like it. That's it. Finished. End of story. He's never gonna do it. But if he understands it, not from his point of view, from the point of view that there is such a thing, there's this concept. You hear? Now I could hopefully one day, get to that stage, get to that level. Finally, our hearts must always be open to words of musar and inspiration, and we should never be afraid to hear the truth.
What prevents a person from doing that?
We'll tell you right now. We may not be holding there right now, but only by hearing it and accepting it will we be able to embark on the path that will lead us there eventually. What prevents them is that I don't want to do it. And therefore, if I accept the fact that this is the truth, if I accept the fact that this stuff exists, then I have to try to come up to it, and I don't want to. So therefore, I'm going to not do it or not accept it. You understand what I'm saying? You just said, what is, it's because I know what the truth is. But if I know the truth, it bothers me. So therefore, I'm going to block the truth out of my mind. I don't want to hear about it. It's not for me.
Could it be also a gava, please?
For sure. Gava is implied over here. And so many things go in play. And that's why we're here. What are we studying Musar for? We're studying Musar in order to improve ourselves. If a person is not going to put his gava down, if he's not going to put his, stubbornness down, if he's not going to, he'll never be able to learn. And that's why we're learning right now that what? Today we learned the concept of at least hear it, understand it, digest it. You don't have to agree with it, but at least know that this thing exists.
He says don't apply it to yourself right away.
Don't apply it to yourself, but at least understand that it exists. Baruch Adonai L'olam, Amen.